I'll find it here. Okay, we're good to go. Hey, hello. Oh, guys, you're already here. That was fast. Hello from Lisbon, from Pedro, and Mark is saying hello from Vancouver, Canada. Canada, sorry, it was in Bulgarian. Canada. I love Canada, and I would love to go to Lisbon. And yeah, let's see who else is there. And by the time that we all get together, I think it's also good to tell you that for now, if you're on Facebook, you can also see us. But in about 5 minutes, the moment we gather together, I'm going to turn off, not me, to be honest, George is right over there. So he's going to turn off the Facebook Live. It's just for you to get together, and we are all gonna go to YouTube. And by the way, right now everybody is seeing my feed, which is so weird to me. So you can take a look at this. Okay. Maybe I should go somewhere else. But at the same time, I need to see your comments. I want you to tell me whether you can hear me. Can you? And there is a little bit of a lag, so we're gonna go there. I can see my feed, and he's like, why do you watch that? But it's so funny because he's behind the camera, you know, it's so much easier behind the camera. At least that's what I think. So before we all get together, I want to tell you that once I started on my YouTube channel this year, it was super hard decision for me because I'm sort of a perfectionist, and I like to know that everything is just perfect. So I guess that's the reason why we didn't have a lot of live portfolio reviews the previous years. Because I was like, oh my God, but what if something fails? But what if this? What if that? And at the same time, this year, to me, it's very important to do stuff, even if they're not super perfect. For me, it's more important to do them, because I know that this way I'm able to help you. And it doesn't matter if it's too perfect, talking about the camera and the live stream and everything. The most important part is that you can actually learn something. So my main goal this year was to actually, you can hear me, that's great. Okay, so for me, the most important part this year was, you can see your photos here waiting for the portfolio review. So this year, my decision was that with each and every video, I'm going to provide you some information, something useful that you will be able to learn from. So let me just grab my phone to make sure that I'm updated with what you're saying, because for me that's very important. And by the way, you can comment, you can tell me whatever you're thinking the very moment you do on the YouTube chat. It should be, for you, it should be on the right side. I think that's the right side. I don't know, it's so frustrating. So let me just find out how can I see your comments via my phone. I don't think it's possible, so you're going to see my feed from time to time, which I don't think it's a big deal. It's not an episode, but in this live, what I'm going to tell you, apart from all the feedback about your photos, I'm also going to give you a little bit of information. You can, by the way, stop the sound, George. Yeah, there is also another computer. So what I'm going to give you as information for this episode is going to be about the name, the way you should name your photos when you're sending them, whether for portfolio review or even if we talk about let's say magazine or a client. What I asked you when you were sending your photos was to write down portfolio review, your name, March 2018, and your profession. And this was very important for me because this way I can have my history. And it's the same with magazines, it's the same with your clients. So what I would recommend you to do, especially if you're sending for a magazine, for example, when they are receiving so many different photos from so many different people, how can you make sure that those people are actually sure that this is your photo? What you can do is to write down your name, along with what I do is to write down my name plus the magazine or the client that I'm sending the photos to, along with something small about the photo shoot. It could be the month of the photo shoot. It could be, for example, if we are shooting flowers for Cosmo, I'm just gonna write down Verginiya, Yancheva, May issue, flowers. Yeah. And of course, Cosmo somewhere. It could be flowers, Cosmo, or May Cosmo flowers. You know what I mean. So this is very important for you. This gives you it gives you just the certainty to that you are one step ahead of everyone, because especially when we talk about magazines and when we talk about agencies, your photos are going to go to so many people that in the end you just want to make sure that your name will be there. So I'm gonna switch my feed. I know that you can see it, and I'm sorry, super frustrating, but I want to see your comments. Great idea, thank you. Arturo, oh, so nice to see you. Yeah, your photos are right there, and I'm super excited and super happy. I don't know how much time it's been ever since we started with the live on Facebook, but I think I'm going to take a look whether you're writing down there something or not. I just want to ask George, though he's right next to me, to put the link for YouTube in the... Okay, he said there is a comment. And by the way, guys, oh my god, I forgot to tell you. So there was supposed to be some sort of a flag or something, but it could have been like it could have been it could have been like fun with flags. It's not fun with flags. That's the reason why I didn't put it. But today is the Independence Day in my country, and we are super happy, super proud. I made some sweets for you, but since I cannot share it, I have this personal rule that we should talk about food and give to people. I'm sorry, and mention it only if we're handing it to people. So I said to myself, it's pointless to show you the sweets, though I made them. So let's see what we have on Facebook. Okay, we have live. Yeah, I have turned off my I turned on my sound. I think it's better for you. YouTube did not work, so came here instead. Oh no, Tim, better stick to YouTube, because I'm going to turn off this Facebook stream very, very soon. For all the people looking at the Facebook stream, it's gonna be off like any minute. So I want to say thank you to all the brave people who were so great to send me their photos. It was super amazing. I hope I'll be helpful today. We have a lot of photos, and I'm very grateful, like I said. And at the very end of this podcast, I'm sorry, it's not a podcast. Oh my god, it's not a podcast. I feel so ashamed right now. At the very end of this live, I'm going to share a little bit of info with you about the next portfolio review that we are going to do. It was like a little hint, but enough for now. Okay, perfect. So I think Tim is with us on YouTube now. Tim, write me down a comment somewhere. And by the way, let me know what happened to your YouTube show. It was super amazing, and I don't see many episodes lately. So, okay, I think we're good to go with the images, because I don't want to waste your time. Because it's, we're celebrating today, and probably I don't know what's time at your place. What's the time right now? Let me know in the comments. Here it's about 8 p.m. 8:20. So we are gonna go by your names. So I hope you're all there. And the first name is Arturo. I don't know. Am I pronouncing it right? Guys, you stopped commenting. That's super frustrating for me. Okay, so let's go with Arturo. I hope this is the right way to pronounce it. Okay, this is the very first photo. How can I? Okay, perfect. So, what I love about this photograph is that you're showing some lingerie, and that's super cool because, especially for boys shooting a lingerie, I'm pretty sure it's just not that easy. George, can people see my little image somewhere right now on the YouTube live? Can they? Oh yeah, there is a lag. I'm so sorry. Okay. You should be able to see it. Okay, anyways, we're not talking about me right now. So what's important for this image? What I would say, now, first of all, I'd like to ask you if you would allow me to just open it on Photoshop and just give you the information what I would do if I were you, because I wasn't with you on a photo shoot, so what I can do to help you right now. But if I was on a photo shoot with you, I would ask you to think more about her legs because they are super important. What's cool about the lingerie and all these stories is actually look at the big cool photos with lingerie. What's the key for them is that they have a super strong silhouette. They have super strong lines there. So with this very straight line and also the same line with her legs, it's kind of difficult for the viewer because we're mostly looking at her right now and not that much to the lingerie. Okay, and what's important for me is to have this cool line. So what she could have done during the photo shoot was to maybe cross her legs on her knees, and this way you would have this gorgeous, very, very beautiful feminine silhouette. And the other thing, by the way, I'm going to release a video very soon about the poses because I think that many photographers are finding that difficult to pose their models. So with a podcast, it's a little bit different and a little bit difficult to explain it to you, but with a video, with a model, I think it's going to be so much easier. So in this video, I'm also going to talk about elbows because they're super important. And what I can say about them is that you should be very careful where they're actually pointing at. Because if they're pointing at your camera, look at me right now. The thing with the cameras and the thing with our eyes is actually the difference is that our eyes are seeing 3D and the camera is not. So if you just see me like that, you won't feel weird about it. But at the same time, if you see me like this on a camera like you do right now, you see that it's just 2D, which means that there is no dimension here and you cannot, your brain is just not realizing. It's assuming, but it's not realizing that there is this part missing. So what you can do is to ask her to whether do that or try doing that. And then the viewer's eye can actually see all these parts, and the viewer's eye knows that it's there. Her hand is there. Oh, okay. I think George just finished the Facebook live without telling me. People now, it's all right. People now are totally confused on Facebook, but I hope, because I said at the very beginning that we are going to stay live on Facebook for just a little bit. Okay, we're done with Facebook, and I'm going to continue my thought about this. So you could have asked her either to do that or to do this. And I'm just gonna give George a second. Okay. So by doing this, you could have even more lines. Just imagine this. Her hand like this or like this. You can ask her to move a little bit her shoulder this way, and then her legs just making this beautiful silhouette. And you could have killed it. I'm not saying that you haven't right now. We're just talking about the little things that can make your work better. I'm very impressed by you, to be honest, for the fact that you're using very colorful and very bright backdrop. For me, that's super cool because most of the photos about lingerie are usually quite darker. It's because there is a lot of psychology behind that. People usually want to refer to what could happen if someone buy this lingerie, if uh, if they're showing up to somebody. And the other thing is, most of the women are not very comfortable with their bodies. So if it's a little bit darker, they are probably gonna feel better about it. But it's just you cannot be sure. So some people, some women, thank you, George. Some women are super brave, super happy with their bodies, and I think that's the photography for them. I love the fact it's very bright, and pretty much what I said about the silhouette is my main critique. I'm looking at the phone in order to see your comments. Great idea, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. in Lisbon and raining. Oh man, it was super rainy yesterday. By the way, there was a thunderstorm in the middle of the night, so we walked up and it was super scary. Though I like thunderstorms, but it was so much noise, we got crazy. Okay, you are? Yes, okay. I'm not sure what you're talking about because there is lag between what I'm saying, what you're seeing. And yeah, so tell me about the option to open your images on Photoshop if it's needed. I don't think it's needed for this photo. There are very little things that I would fix right now. Something like, to be honest, over here I would fix a little bit her legs, the skin on her legs, because for example over here you have lost a little bit of her skin, so you have to be careful with this, especially if you're working with clients. They're going to notice that, they're gonna go a little bit crazy, so this is on you. I would also remove this hair. I'll try to be a little bit more careful during the photo shoot. It's not your problem. It's the problem of the hairstylist because they haven't seen it. But at the same time, we as the photographers, we need to tell them, hey, look at there is a problem, because the angle they are looking at is completely different from yours. It could not be completely, they might be right next to you, but it's not exactly yours angle. So if you can, I definitely recommend you to try feathering, because this way your whole team can be seeing exactly what you are. Thank you for the permission. For now, we are good without Photoshop. Okay. I think pretty much that's it about this photo. Let me know if you are... Hello, Trajan, I can say it in Bulgarian. By the way, I'm so sorry I was unable to chat with you about the photos because I'm sorry, Trajan asked me if he could send me the photos, if there are some specifics about it, but I was super busy and running all day, and I was like, okay, yeah, in the podcast, so sorry about that. So Arturo, let me know what you think about this feedback, and is this enough for you? Did you learn something from it? That's important for me. So we could go to the next photo. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can have questions about your own image and also about other people's images, and that's okay because we can all learn from each other, and that's perfect. I think that's the whole point of this. Okay, I see no comments right now, so I'm gonna go to the next. Oh, what do you think about working with hard light there? I think it could all work as long as it's in your style, because you can experiment before and even after you have found out your style. Oh my god, sorry about the noise. And you can of course try different stuff as long as it's working for you. As long as you look at the image and you think it's a strong image, it's all good. And the other thing that you should be careful about is to make sure that what's the face of your model, That's very important because not every light is for every face. That's the good photographer, the person who can, the good portrait photographer, the good photographer who is shooting people, the person who knows whether this light is going to fit this face or not. Because, for example, if you put very harsh light on my face, I'm going to look terrible. Yeah, so be careful with that. So bright, colorful backdrop is okay here in lingerie. It's okay everywhere. You guys should not be afraid to try stuff. Not everything works, but the good part about trying is in fact knowing beforehand, before you've seen your client. And when you try different stuff, it's super easy for you when you have a client who's coming to your studio and they ask you, what if you do a super bright background and it's all harsh light, and your model is totally not for this. I mean, her face is just super not fitting this story. And you are the professional who can say, you know what? This face is now working very well with harsh light. And let me know what's exactly the story behind your lingerie and what type of people you would like to attract. Because if this lingerie is for super bold ladies who are very aware how they look, it's okay to be in harsh light because they probably have very good looking faces, and it's okay to be on bright backdrop. I have a very bright lingerie photo shoot myself, and you can see it. I can show it to you right now. Let me do it. Okay. Also, if you didn't mind me saying, I'll be careful about the cropping at the wrist. Yeah, that's true. I was going to, okay, show you this photo shoot. This photo shoot is all about the lingerie and it's very bright. But look at my model's legs. I mean, they are super long, and she is totally badass here. I think YouTube is going to cut me off for this, but she is. So it's a very bright story. I think you already know it, so I'm not going to stick to it because today is all about your photos. So yeah, let's just go back to this image. Cropping at the wrist. Somebody mentioned it in the comments, and it's Pedro. Yeah, and you're completely right. I didn't mention it because I said this thing about the silhouette and about moving her shoulder. And if she does that, try it right now. Try it. Move your shoulder a little, just like that. Move it. And you should know how to move it, by the way, because if you want to explain it to your models, you should be able to either do it very well or explain it with words very well. So if you can do this, you just have to also move your hand. This could be weird for you. If these are too weird for you, let me know. Now explain. So people in the chat, they love the color of the background and they think it's a nice photo, and it's true, it is a nice photo. Did you try that with the shoulder, guys? And in order to make that, I think, because I'm trying to stay, you know, like with my hand at the same place, but at the same time I feel it's just super stiff, like like a wood. Okay, I don't see any other comments here, but I think the posing video is really gonna help. And I agree about the wrist. If you stay with this image, because this is what you have right now, and all that you can do right now is in Photoshop, let's be honest. So if that's the case, you can definitely try cropping it in another way. Let me just open it in Photoshop. Okay. It was supposed to be on. I don't know why it's not on. Let's see what you can do. If you see what you've got here? here? Oh, okay, you don't have it. It's just me because it's 4K monitor. Okay. So what we can do about the crop right now? Oh, it's gonna be a hard one. But if you're not, if you do not know how to handle those parts of the body that we mentioned that you should be careful with, the skin, you can do some sort of a crop like that, or even tilt it a little. You should play with it, I think. Yeah. The main problem, in fact, is that her hand is super straight. If it was just a little bit of, if it was a little bit like that, I don't know, guys, what you're seeing. Yeah, if it was a little bit like that and not super straight, it would have been fine. Okay. I think we're done with this photo. I would personally make it a little bit darker, a little bit, because for me right now this is blowing. So what I would do is, I'm so sorry, I just set up my Photoshop here. I would do something like that because it's more red, and red is sexy and everybody knows that. So I think I would do that with a little bit more contrast. Yeah, by the way, I love it like that. Tell me what you guys think. Okay, I think it looks super different now. I don't have my layers here for some reason. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it looks very, very different. So think about it. I use the curve layers as an adjustment layer from here. You all have it. It's at the same place for everyone. And I'm using this, if you're not aware how Photoshop works, this is because the reason why I do this is because it's not affecting the image, and for me this is super important. You see, it's I'm sorry, I'm going to remove that one because it's absolutely blank. But if I'm just switching on and off, you'll see that the quality of the image is exactly the same. So I'm not affecting the image. And if I don't love these curves, or I just want to adjust them a little bit more later when I have done some other stuff, it's going to help me because it's not attached to the main layer, and I can bring up and down the opacity. So I think using adjustment layers is better for you and for your photography. Okay, let's just leave this and go to the next image. Okay, what do we have here? We have a man this time. That's cool. Okay, about this image, what can I tell to you? I think the main thing for me is that in this, and also in the previous image, your white is kind of too white. I don't know if it's like this for the other people. Okay, you say I have a few versions of it. I wanted to try this bright version. Okay, it's good to try bright. We said so already. Okay, about this image, what's frustrating for me is that you have words in the upper corner. You have all these lines behind him, and all these lines, I'm sorry, and all the stuff behind the lines, and they're all in focus. And for me, that's frustrating because I don't know where to look at. I'm looking at Dante, I'm looking at the stuff behind the mirror. I'm also looking at him, but all the other stuff are well lit. And it goes the same about him. So I'm a little bit frustrated. And I would be careful about that. You could have asked him to move a little bit towards you. And this way you could have just have a little bit of focus on him. I understand it wasn't a very easy decision, because if he had moved forward, you would have lost his face, and I realized that. But you could have just asked him to move around, and then you could have hit that perfect light. Or just, if you think, you know what, guys, if you think that this photo is not super good, better don't take it. There is another photo waiting for you just behind the corner, and you don't need to waste your time on something that you're not completely sure. Aren't you completely sure about this photo? I'm not saying it's bad. Your composition is nice, it's good looking, it's all about the, because you have some sort of diagonals there. And I cannot say anything bad about that, but at the same time, my eye is going all over the place. I'm seeing the Dante thing, I'm seeing everything behind the glass, I'm also looking at him, and I'm a little bit frustrated. Like I said, for this image and also for the previous one, I think your white colors are a little bit too white. Look at his face over here. It's a little bit too light. What I'm not very sure about is this spot on his face. It's not like Rembrandt light. It's like he wasn't completely sure. And I, as a viewer, I'm not completely sure, because you weren't. I'm sure you were at the moment of this photo. So it's not a bad photo. You just have to think about the whole picture altogether, how you're going to look at it later. I see that the light was very harsh. I know that it wasn't easy for you to shoot it because you were probably not seeing very well just the screen of your camera. So I'm aware of all these facts. You know it too now. So I hope for the next time you'll be even more prepared. I don't see any comments, which is weird, but let me know what you think about this photo, and what do you think about the comments that I gave you. I guess can see that my face is actually covering part of the image, so I'm just gonna try and do that to help you. Okay, we're looking at this image. Tell me, guys, what do you think, and how it's going so far. I think I'm going to move to the next photo. Again, it was a great photo. You just have to think about those little stuff. I'm sure a viewer can love it. It's just that today we're talking how to make your photography amazing. So for me, that's very important. To my eye, Trajan is saying, to my eye, this one is stronger than the previous one. That's very interesting. If you crop out the top, it would look better. Maybe cropping closer in. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so people are thinking about stuff. Okay, totally agree with you. I think we can move to the next one. Okay, this one is from Frankie Perez. Am I right? I'm saying it right? Okay, so we have a lot of color. I love that. Tell me what's the camera you use for this photo. That's super interesting for me. I like all the feedback. I'm very, very happy that you did. I hope it was super helpful. It's kind of hard to give people feedback like this, because some people might really take it super bad, which is not so good, but I love the fact you love the feedback. Okay, so do we have Frankie here? Yeah, we do, because I have some previous comments from Frankie. Okay, Frankie, tell me what's your camera. Maybe without the Dante it would look better. Yeah, I think so. It's especially when we're still talking about the previous photo. Okay, especially if you're shooting this for a brand and it's not Dante, you don't need these letters in the corner, because it could be amazing photograph for a leather jacket brand. Look at it. It could be. And if they have the Dante thing, they'll be so frustrated if that's not their brand. So you should be very careful about that. Pedro is saying maybe some color in the styling to make it stand out more. To be honest with you, I like the styling so far, but it's a very personal decision. At the same time, I think that if you just could have blurred out a little the background, it would have helped a lot. That was the reason why I mentioned that you could have asked him to come closer to you, because you could have blurred a little bit the background. Because right now the background is very frustrating. I'm looking at it because I'm one of those people that like all these little stuff, and I just want to see what they have in this shop, which is, yeah, that's me. But there are many people like me, and if if this was the leather jacket campaign, I wouldn't look at the leather jacket. But if it was blurred out, I would definitely look at this gorgeous man. Okay, Tran saying, are we supposed to give advices or what we think about the photos? You can say whatever you want as long as it's not hateful. Okay, let's go to Frankie because I'm sure Frankie is very excited. Okay, Frankie. Frankie said that this was shot with Canon 60D. I love that. I love the fact it's a very vintage camera vibe in it. I think it was your idea. I'm super sure it wasn't just something that happened. What I can tell you right away when I look at this photo is that I love the colors. I love the fact that I can see his face so well lit. And for me, that's super cool. There are very few things that I would say about this photo. One of them is to make sure that your crop is strong. And what I mean is that if you could have just moved this photo, I'm so sorry. Maybe I should do that in Photoshop because, yeah. Would you mind if I open? You know what? It happened. I won't open it in Photoshop. I think if this image was looking like that, you would have this gorgeous vibe that we're looking just at him, and that's super cool. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that you should be a little bit careful with those. You guys seeing my mouse, right? Are you seeing my mouse? That's super important. You're seeing my mouse. Okay. So if I were you, I would have been very, very careful with those green stuff. I guess it's some sort of green stuff. I don't know. So I would have been careful with this, and I think this is his shoulder. So let me know if I'm right. But it's just giving me the feeling he's standing like that. And if he's standing like that, he's not very comfortable. So it's making me feel uncomfortable. Behind every photography, there is a lot and lots and lots and lots of psychology. So if your model is feeling uncomfortable, I'm probably going to feel the same. So if you remove those green stuff, he's just gonna look more relaxed, and I'm gonna love it because he's surrounded by some natural stuff. And I think this is gonna help. Tell me, guys, what you think in the comments. The other thing that I will remove, it's super small thing, but I love the photo, so I don't really think there is much that you need to do afterwards, is this light, this spot of light. It's a small thing. Yes, green stuff are trees in the background. Yeah, so I was right, green stuff. Okay, so if I were you, I would have removed them. And the other thing is this spot. It's very small, but it's still making my eye go there. And I'm going crazy because all I want to do is to look at these photos. I'm sorry, at these glasses where I'm seeing the clouds and at the same time his eye. I think that's very catching and I love it. And pretty much that's it about that photo. I think if you crop it and if you remove those green stuff, though I'm pretty sure, like I said, that this is his shoulder, still I would have removed it. I think it's gonna look just perfect and I would totally love this image. Not that I don't love it now. And pretty much this is for this photo because it doesn't really need that much feedback. I think we're good to go to the next one. Okay, let me see what's going on. Okay, next photo is this one. You're obviously having some sort of style there and I love it because you have your kinds of colors and they're the same palette, and I love it. What I would say here is to be again careful with the crop. I'm missing part of her head, and at the same time I have too much of her waist. So, oh, sorry. Okay, too much. Okay, so if I could have seen something like, if you were showing me something like that, I would have loved that, because I'm looking straight at her eyes, and it's just the fact that her hands are here are just so closing her face. It's super bold for me. I wouldn't ask her to smash her face, because that's me, but I love it on your image. So I think it was very bold to ask her, and I must admit your styling is just amazing. And since you're a photographer, I'm not going to discuss the styling, but the only thing that I would ask during the photo shoot to be removed, and it's not a removement, it's just to make something like that in order to hide this hoodie, I suppose. I'm not quite sure, but right now you can do it on post. I'm not recommending for you to do stuff on post. My main recommendation is to do everything on the photo shoot, simply because if you have to remove the same stuff on like 100 photos, you're gonna go crazy. Nobody wants that. So if you can do the job, do it before you press the button, not after that in Photoshop. We're not retouchers, we're photographers, so we are supposed to do stuff on Photoshop. For this image, pretty much that's it. Be careful with the crops, make sure that your composition is very strong, and you're gonna go super far away, I think. Very bold, very strong. It was super easy for me. I mean, if I just mess up this folder and I mess up all of your names, I'm going to recognize that these two images are from the same person, and this means that you are establishing a style, which is great for you. Oh, you style it yourself. Okay, perfect. So think more about the composition. For me, that's the key for your images. Pretty much that's it. Like I said, if you guys think anything else, and if you want to add something, let me know in the comments, because there is a lot. Like I said, I'm going to go straight to the next photo. Okay, I'm gonna close these. I don't know why I talk like this. Okay, let me see if Jade Bass Photography is here. Jade, are you here? I'm going to move my chair and I'm gonna drink a little bit of tea because I just need it. Let's go back to the last photo thing till we have the Jade, Jade here, or at least some sort of sign. Frankie is asking, do you think the loose hairs are distracting? Not at all. Not at all, especially with the crop that I showed you. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Especially with this crop, she's super messy. I mean, man, look at her hands. She's in gloves for cleaning. What do you care about her hair? About the light in the bottom. What? Sorry. Can you help me? I'm not sure. Arturo, is that you? Creative Imagery Pantao. Am I pronouncing it right? If that's Arturo, just tell me. It's me, Arturo. I'm not sure how I feel about the light at the bottom. What light at the bottom? Are you talking about the next image? About Jade's image? What? I did not I did not understand. What do you mean? Okay. Slightly resembles Terry Richardson. Yeah, it's true. Oh, guys, I should definitely stick to the previous photo. You're still commenting. Okay, yeah, it does, simply because of the light. Very harsh light, mostly from, yeah, mostly from the front on the other side, but that's okay. Yeah, it does remind me too of Terry Richardson, but again, here the styling is super crazy. I would not touch those. I would not touch those little hairs. To me, they're not a problem. Obviously, Pantao creative imagery is Arturo. Okay, same lighting style. Yeah, as Terry Richardson. But here in the previous image of Frankie, we see very different light, and we still can see his sign there, right? Can you guys? I think it's the same style, though the light is very different. But again, mostly because of the colors, I think. Yeah. I think it's because of the colors. But again, you should be a little bit more careful about the light. I'm sorry, about the composition. Yep. Okay, let's go to Jade. Is Jade here? I don't think Jade is here. Maybe she's going to watch it a little bit later. So what we are going to do is to go to the next photo, and then we're going to talk about Jade's photo at the very end. Or we should talk about it now. I don't know. Tell me what do you think about this photo. Okay, let's just talk about it right now. So again, here I would be careful with the crop. You see, guys, they have a lot of space above their heads. It's giving me the thing that is confusing me a little is that I'm not quite sure if she's super tall or he's super now, Frankie, you're more than welcome. Or he is like super small, or if he's hiding her and I don't know, I'm sorry, holding her. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. The thing is, they have a lot of space above their heads, and the image is all about them. So what I would be careful with is, again, the composition. So what I think is that if you crop it like something like that, let me just see if I can remove those bars. Yeah, I can remove them without really cropping her head. I think it would have looked much better, because right now I'm looking at them, and what I would personally do is to even crop it more. Something like this. I would have cropped her hair, yeah, and I would move it something like that, so they will not be at the very center of the image. I think this is really gonna help. And the other thing that I would do, I realize that she has makeup, and yeah, okay, that's fine, but you can either ask if you have a makeup artist and they're coming to you first and then you're going out, or if they're going straight to the location with you, and before that she have had some makeup. You can always ask the makeup artist, or even your, I suppose, yeah, okay, or even the girl on this photo. I think it's an engagement photo because I can see the ring, and if it's so, I think you've done a great job shooting an engagement session with them, because I can simply recognize the story. And if not, that's all right, because it's super lovely story, and I'm just, as a viewer, I'm looking at something that will make a story for me, a storyline. So I would have matched the color of their skin, because right now it's super obvious that she has makeup and he does not. So I recommend this. What I would do is to tell the makeup artist or the future bride to just make sure that they're both the same color. If I don't have this luxury, I would simply do it on Photoshop. Not too happy about it, especially if they have 100 photos, but this is what we can do. I love the image. I love that you have them, the snow between you and them. That you have, by the way, all these branches behind them, they're not distracting me. And I think that's the best part. Ah, Christine says, I'm not sure about the background. It feels a bit restless because of the trees. Yeah, it does, but at the same time, look at those lines. They're all pointing at them. They're like an arc. And we're all looking at them. I think it's awesome, and I don't know why I have those hands. Super ugly. But for me, the background is working, and I love that you have this. There's just some sort of. There is truly a story in your image, and I love it because it's very hard to tell a story just by one image, and you have it. And I think you're at the wrong. At the right path. The only thing is just make sure that you to make sure that your composition is right, because this is not as strong for me as the option that I showed you, as this. And the other thing is the colors. For me, that's super important. Okay, let's see what we have in the comments. Tran, who, by the way, is the photographer of our friends' weddings, and the images are super cool, and we all love them. And he's shooting weddings, and he's saying you should wait for the moment right before the actual kiss. And I'm super, I cannot agree more. Because whenever people are kissing, they're doing that. You know, it's super funny that I'm showing it to you right now. That. But they cannot kiss each other and at the same time stand in front of the camera facing it. So they should, sorry about my profile, it's just awful, but that's life. I mean, you have to learn it. So, okay, so if I turn around towards my partner, probably George, I'm gonna, and if I do, you see my nose that does not have the best form and like silhouette otherwise, it's just even looking worse, you see. And my lips are so funny. So I completely agree that you should wait for the moment right before the actual kiss, because then people just have this gorgeous moment of looking at each other and their face, their silhouette is looking great. So yeah, Arturo is saying, by the way, this time with his own profile, it's okay to stay with the other one. It's not a problem. I like the kiss, that the kiss isn't too squished. I agree with composition comments. I'm using my proper YouTube account now. That's true. Not a problem. Let's give you a shout out. Pantao Creative Imagery is his YouTube profile of obviously his creative imagery. Yeah, it's a lovely image. It's true. I'm amazed by the way you can just say a story just by one photo. There is one other thing that I would like to discuss, but I'm gonna go to your next photo, and because you have it on both. And look at this photo. It's super sweet. It's obviously an amazing moment. I don't think you're here. If you are, please leave a comment on YouTube. You can see the chat, I think, at the right side, which should be somewhere over here. Am I right? So if you're there, let me know, because I would like to show you how it, what's the crop that would work for me better. What I love about this image are those eyes. I think that's more than normal. I think everybody can see it. What I would do here is to work again on the crop. I think the composition problem is definitely existing for you and from for the previous two photos from Frankie. No, sorry, I'm staying here. So guys, what do you think about this photo? Let me know in the comments. And if Jade is here, that would be great. So Jade, what I would do if I were you is to crop a little bit of her forehead, like till here, right above her eyebrow, and to crop a little bit on from here. First of all, because you don't need those two, and at the same time, because her hand is looking quite weird, and I'm going to simply, I can see there's been something else over here. So you needed to take care of the background. Okay, but you know what? You just don't need a space. So you can definitely crop it till here. And then the hand won't look that crazy. Sorry, that weird. And at the same time, I don't know how I did that. I'll be able to look at this baby's eyes. The other thing that I would do is to definitely make sure that my contrast is looking very aware of what he's doing. Because right now you have all the gray, but not well defined white, and not super well defined black. So on the histogram, your image is all mid-gray. It's not all mid-gray. You definitely have a lot of black because of her shirt and her hair. You have black, but it's not defined. So if you could have opened this on Photoshop, I'm just going to do it for you. I'm just going to show you that I'm not going to save the image. I'm not going to use guys' images. This is all educational. It's all about you. So just to show you what I would do, it's something like that, crop like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna add I'm even gonna crop out this, just like that. Go back to her eye, and now I'm not using my tablet. It's not here, and I'm going crazy. I hate working with a mouse. Oh, damn it. I've got my... Okay, let me just go back. I don't know what this was. Don't crop. Okay. Let me just do it again. So if you do something like that, I'm not saying you should do exactly the same, but something like that. You have a very strong diagonal here because I'm looking at his eyes, and at the same time I have diagonal here because she's looking at this baby's eyes. Tim is also here. Tim, I'm sorry I wasn't able to see your comment on Facebook, so tell me about your show and tell the people about your show, because people should see it and should know about it. So let's go to, again, curves. I love curves. I love when an image is just showing that you know how to use contrast and you're not afraid of contrast, because there is nothing bad about it. Okay? If you go to something like this, not too crazy. Not too crazy. Yeah. And let's see what we've got. You see? It's not super big difference, but it's a big one. So let's see what Tim is saying. Like the love from mother to baby shown by look. Baby looks cute and it's monochrome. It is, because Tim loves monochrome. I don't know, I cannot see your photos here, Tim. I really miss you, but I definitely appreciate that you are writing comments and you're with us through the live. So what do you guys think about the curves, and are you afraid of using curves? So I think this is definitely helping the image. This is before and this is after. For me, that composition is definitely stronger. I love this image the way it is. I just see stuff, things like that. And I miss her face when I have too much space on this side. I'm just like, oh, why I cannot see her face? Why I cannot see this whole smile? And at the same time, I have this blank space. So I would definitely recommend you this crop. I'm closing the image so you can see that I'm not saving it. I don't need it. And I think now I can tell you the last thing that I have for you as a comment. I love your images. I think they're very good looking. I think you too have some style there. It's not as defined as Frankie's, but you definitely know how to catch the moment. You know how to tell a story. You just should really aware of your composition. For me, that's the main sign that how good a photographer is. So be careful with that, and also be careful with the logo. First of all, because this logo is not on a place where somebody won't be able to remove it. Everybody could remove it from there if they want to steal your photos. And at the same time, why would I need that logo? I think it's not helping you, and if it's not helping you, you just don't need it there. Everybody can see your image, the person who is uploading it. So I don't really think that you need logo. Guys, tell me, what do you think about logos? Because maybe my opinion is different from yours, and it's sort of important for me to know what do you think. And let's just wait. I'm just gonna wait a minute or two to see what you're going to say in the comments for the feedback, for those images. Do you love them? Do you guys think that she knows how to tell a story? I definitely think she knows how to, just by one image. My tea is not hot anymore. I'm definitely suffering. Okay. I don't see your comments yet. So I'm gonna take a look who's next. Really, really, really don't. What? Pedro? What do you mean? Okay. Time to go to Mark's work. Mark Da Vinci. Do you have something to do with Da Vinci? Okay, let's just go to your image. This guy looks a lot like Justin Bieber. It's not Justin Bieber, but he's just like a copy of his. It's okay. I don't really understand what Pedro is saying. I think he's still talking about the previous image, but I'm not quite sure. Tim is saying, I used to have big logos, but then I used smaller. Now I rarely use. Don't like the logos on the photos, Pedro. You don't like them. I don't like them either. I don't think they're helping. And let's be honest, if somebody wants to steal your photo, they're going to do it. Otherwise, they just are gonna find real job and something to do with their lives. But if they wanna steal, they'll steal. And especially if the logo is not super big and your font is not super good for reading, it's usually just bugging me that I cannot read what I'm seeing, and at the same time I'm not looking at the image, I'm looking at the text. It's just all about the human brain, and the human brain is working exactly like this. Everybody is gonna start just reading the text. If it's something small and something like in the middle of the image, they're gonna start reading it, and if we cannot read it, we're gonna go crazy. Tran is saying, don't like them, but always use them. Logos. Why? Where? Do you use them for clients? Do you use them before because usually when you're working with a client, you're sending the images for like proofs for them to choose the photos that you would like to they would like you to retouch, and that's all right, because you don't want the photos to be stolen, to get stolen. And at the same time, if you're using them because of for your social media, you're uploading them from your account. I don't really understand that, but that's all right. You probably have a reason. So let's just go to Mark, because I'm sure that Mark is shaking. I don't think you're shaking. Okay, let's just discuss the image. So I think it's a good composite, but at the same time, you have a lot of details on your background. And for me, that's distracting. I like the leather jacket. I like the whole symmetry thing. I'm not very sure what's going on with his crotch. You can tell me a little bit more about it. I am very sure that you just wanted it to be very the same. I mean, it's obvious you wanted it to be the same at both sides. But for example, look at the shirt. If you're shooting for a brand, and if I'm the executive of the brand, I'm going to tell you what have happened with my shirt. I don't offer it looking like this. But if you're doing for yourself, I think it looks great. You just have to be a little bit more aware of the details behind them. So pretty much that's it. I like the light on his face. I like your composite. It looks bold. At the same time, you have enough contrast. You guys did not tell. I still don't know what you think about the contrast. And do you like using curves? And what's your method? And are you afraid of having a little bit more contrast on your work? Pretty much that's it for this photo. Like I said, be aware of the details, because my eye is just switching on and off between him and the background, and I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. But if I just look at this image, like if oh, I'm sorry, if it's a small image, I'm just gonna do that. If it's a small image, if I see it on my feed on Instagram, I'm gonna love it because it's super symmetrical, and I'm gonna love it because I don't see the details. It's just a small one. So I think that's the only thing you should be aware of. And it's great that you're trying to work more with composites. It's very hard work, and I really appreciate the effort. Let's go to your next image, because it's all about photography over here, and it's again monochromatic, and I guess Tim is very happy now. I see you don't have any problems with... Oh, sorry, my battery is dying, so let me just do that. Okay. Hard work here. Yeah. Good. We're good to go. Okay, it's a great idea. It is. Sorry about the battery thing. Okay. So it's all about the image. I love that. It's all about the photography, I mean. It reminds me of a photo shoot of mine. Let me show you. Let's just go over here. Ooh, what's going on with my internet? Do I have it on my website? Yeah, it's just reminding me, probably because it's with a guy. And again, there are some lines. You see, guys? I'm not saying it's the same photo. It's just reminding me because there are lines. And I think this photo is very good, very cool. Let me know if I can open it in Photoshop, because I would like to show you a few tricks here. Love the black and white, the mystery, very cool. Yeah, it's very mysterious, it's true. So tell me if I can open it on Photoshop. What do you think about it? Again, I love the light. You're working very well with light. I think that's great for a photographer. You cannot ask for anything else. So, and also tell me, if on this photo shoot you were alone with just the model or you had a stylist, a makeup artist, then of course I won. I want to show you what I would do in order to help you. I think it will help. I don't know what I just, okay, whatever. So, okay, just gonna open it like this. Okay. Again, I'm not here with my tablet, so it's kind of harder for me because I'm usually retouching with it. But I'm just gonna show you very like this. Okay, so first of all, it's kind of frustrating for me that he's not straight, and he's not standing straight, and he's like almost on his knees. So I would crop it because I won't be able to see his weirdly standing hand over here. You see that? It's weird. So if I were you and you would like to have the photo not cropped just like this, I would have just removed this hand, like just with the stamp tool. I don't need to do that right now, but something very, very bad looking just for you to understand me. Oh my God, what am I doing? Let me do it like that. On another layer. Always do it on another layer. God, this is my first time using Photoshop on this computer, and it's kind of making me crazy, but you know what I mean already. The tricky thing with the contrast in fashion, I find, is to still be able to see the details in the clothes, says Arturo, and that is true. You should always have the detail. If it's fashion photography, it's all about the detail, it's all about the clothes. So you don't, that is true. It's very hard to have the detail, to have when you're shooting velvet, to have detail there because it's consuming a lot of light, and at the same time when you're shooting brights, to have the bright white, if and to make sure that it's not just blowing. So for this image, good point with the removing the second hand. Yes. Okay, you understand. You understood what I mean. Okay, the next thing I would do is to go to this weirdly looking here, and I would take care of it too. You see that? Yeah, I would take care of it too. Again, with the stamp tool, I don't know why it's not working. Have no idea. This is the first time I'm using this Photoshop. I'm not going to give it too much attention right now, but you still have the detail. You guys see? It has the detail, which is super cool. Okay, if you remove the photo, if you want to remove the hand, that would be great, I think. What I would do is to crop this image, tilt it a little bit, just like that. Maybe not with this crop, but anyways, you can understand me. Okay, and you guys know, oh my God. You guys know that I am all about the lines, and I would do exactly the same here. I would stick to the lines, and if you want to, you can just leave it like that. I don't know how people do it without their mouses, really, without their tablets, just with mouses. So I do like the pens in the shots. Okay, good point with your, okay, I saw that already. Even if you want to, okay, let's just say that you're going to stick the whole image, do the whole image. I would have just removed this part a little. I would, because if he's crawling like that, I would just help him to look at a photo more like it's fitting in it. So I would remove the space around him, something like that. So if you want to still have the pants, that's all right, but in some sort of version like that. Okay, and what's the next thing that I would do? And probably many retouchers are going to hate me, but this is what I would do, is to do that. Go to liquefy. Yeah, can you imagine? Okay. Whoa. And I would just make sure that he's not looking like Quasimodo, and do that. Help him a little bit. I would. It depends on your head, to be honest, because their head's looking like this for you. George, can I ask you for a little bit of hot water for the feet? Thank you so much. I cannot live without tea, so thank you, George. So if this is not one of those hats, I would have helped it a little. If it's because shooting hats is like an art. You have to know exactly what type of form it has in order to make sure that you're showing it to the viewer. I would have fixed that with the stamp tool. I want to make this a little bit smaller. Oh, not that small. So it's so hard with the mouse. Oh, I cannot. Okay. Yeah, and I would just make sure that I have super good lines. And if I want to have this, or if I don't need it, but I think with it, it looks better because it's obvious that it's some sort of coat. So Tim says, question, when you crop, do you try to keep to original ratio? It depends, because if I'm shooting this for a client and if I know it's for a catalog, what type of catalog, how big it's going to be, what's the ratio of the images for the catalog. So if I have to stick to some sort of ratio, I'm going to. If I don't have to, I can simply do like a triangle photo. It's okay. You don't need to stick to rules when there are no rules. In other words, if you're shooting for yourself, if you're shooting for your personal projects, you can do whatever you want to do. You don't need to limit yourself. That's super important. Mark says, my thought too. I often feel like I need to stay to the original crop, but for publication, oftentimes any size can work as they add text. This is almost true, because if you're shooting for a paper magazine, their images are usually their size is not that high. They're more like 4:3, and they're just more like a square, but not really a square. So you should be aware of that. And many times when you send a photo to the paper magazine, they have a person in-house who is actually cropping the images. And if you have a good established relationship, you can see the crops before your retouch, which is so relieving, because especially if you have to, for some reason, remove something around the model and it's not even included at the print, you feel like if you have to do this job, it's so unnecessarily. And if you can skip that process, that's gonna be best. Mark says, unless you want to print, it's absolutely true. If you talk about online magazines, I would say that some of them have very strict rules. Thank you so much, George. Let's all say thank you, George, because he brought me some hot tea, and I'm super grateful. And yeah, guys, if you have to shoot for some magazines that are online, some of them have very strict rules, and you just have to know beforehand. If you're shooting for your own personal project, guys, you don't need to stick to any rules, whether it's cropping, whether it's it could be everything. I mean, even composition. You just have to make sure that what you do is what you love. So I would fix those lines just to make sure that I have good lines. And yeah, I'm gonna go here, and now we have this result. Maybe not with the head, like I said, it depends on the form of the head. But I think the coat looks much better, and at the same time your model looks much better. But I love your black and white. You did not, Mark, you didn't tell me whether it was just you and the model, or you also had makeup artist, stylist. Let me just close that photo. I think pretty much that's it. If you want if you want to know anything else, let me know. If you guys have any other questions about these images, also shoot them. If you want to ask about something else, you can do it now or later, whenever you want. Oh God. So much happiness in just one cup. It's amazing. Okay. I don't see any other comments, so I'm going to close that image. Small changes but make a difference. Yeah, that's the thing. I think when you know your work during the photo shoot, and when you do what you have to do and you're sure of the results, and you have to tweak just a few small stuff, I think it's better than to rely on Photoshop for making the final image. And I don't think it's a good thing to do that, because whenever you start working with clients, you cannot tell them, oh, look, that's the final image. It's not exactly what it's going to look like, but yeah, you know, I'm going to fix it on Photoshop. It's not okay. Nobody's going to take you seriously if you do that. So, no stylist, good job. You've done a great job. Yeah, for real. So, yeah, better do the photo in the camera and then just small tweaks. I think it's the best publicity. Pedro is here, right? Pedro, yeah. Okay. Gabriel, you're here. Are you excited? Are you excited? I'm going to give you feedback about your photos. Okay. So, I believe what we see is because you can see that I'm going to discuss 4 images from Pedro, but I think it's like a diptych. So we're just going to take those 2 as just one image. This is what it is. Do you guys know what it's a diptych? It's just 2 images that are considered just one piece of art. And at the same time, for me, the strongest work of arts like this are those images that are saying one story together, and they're still telling a very strong story apart. So they should be amazing images, even if they're together or if they're by themselves. Okay, Pedro is saying that he's trembling. They go together. Awesome. Great. Okay, so what I love about those images is that I suppose you did not have any hesitation about the colors, because they all look together, and for me that's important as a viewer. You guys looking at the images, and I can also see that he is sort of looking at them, and I love that. What I'm not completely sure is about his falling backdrop. You see that? I mean, I know this is some type of road that is just in this direction, but look at the level of the grass over here and the level of the grass over here. It's just giving me the feeling that it's all falling. But at the same time, it's leading my eye to these lines, and I like that, because it's all like, I'm looking at this, the guy's looking at them, and then this line is leading me here, and this line is leading me towards the 2 girls. The only frustrating for me, the thing that frustrates me, is that he's looking at them and they're not looking at him, they're not looking at you, they're not looking at each other, they're obviously looking at something else, and there is not a 3rd image. And for me, that's frustrating. I would have liked it more if they were sort of looking at us or at each other. This would have helped you to just close the composition. And that's very important whenever you're shooting for a book, a portfolio, not a book. So if you're shooting for a magazine, for example, it's gonna look good if those images, they have something after them. But if we just consider those two images, it's just a piece of art that this is the whole thing. There is nothing else that you could have added to this. For me, it just, the composition is not closed, and that's distracting for me. What I can tell you here is again that the backdrop is kind of sort of falling. If it was a sea or something, I would have been very worried about it because it was going to okay, whatever. So I would have removed this building. I'm not sure if it's a building, but it looks like a building to me. Yeah, I would have removed that, definitely. I know if they were just moving, if you just waited a minute or two for them to make a step, you could have lose it during the photo shoot, but you have it now, so I would just remove it. And at the same time, I love your light. You have something additional there. You thought about it. It's just showing me that there is a little bit of thought. If I have to discuss those two images apart, I would say that I'm not so sure about his hair standing on his eyes, because I wouldn't consider it a portrait if so, because I don't see his face and I see too much of his skin. But I think together they look great. Like I said, the only thing is this building and the fact that if she was looking at us, it would have just closed the composition and it would have looked like finished piece of art. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, they go together. Okay, that's it for me for those images. I think they're very much one piece of art because of the colors, because of the space that you're leaving to the models, and it's just obvious that it was shot from the same person. So for me, they look perfect together. If you're okay, I'm going to move to the next photo. Not much to fix, guys. I mean, if you're happy with the result, why fix it if it's not broken, you know? Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, I told you something about the colors of these two pieces, and at the same time, you don't have this here. And for me, this is, oh God, I was super happy about this image, and I love this too. But if you had the same color to the girl's background as you do for the flower, oh, it would have been amazing. I would be like, oh God, this guy knows what he's doing, you know? So I think you're at the right direction. I think there are a few things that you just need to refine. And here you have the same problem. You know, I need to do something for you to explain to you how do you do a story of several photos, and we definitely need to talk about composition a little bit more. What's the problem for me here is that we have the line of the flower that is very well defined. It's just, yeah, it's a centered composition, but to me that's not a problem. But at the same time, we have this small line and it's giving you direction to the eye, and I love it. Yeah, the devil is in the details. Pedro, you're completely right. So we have this line and it's guiding my eyes in so nice way. And at the same time, we have the girl, and we could have had this line if you did not bounce the light here. You know why? Because I'm just going to show it to you like this. Look at this. If you hadn't used the bounce over here, you would have had this, which was going to, I cannot show it to you in a perfect way because it's out of light and I'm just touching over. So I'm not going to go in details, but look at this. What if this, oh, I just did, okay. What if this was darker? It would have created, okay, it would have created another line, you see, and they would have been opposite. And I think this could have helped the image, because then my eye would have gone like this. I'm just, yeah, I'm gonna open it for you like this. The line would have been like, let me just see what you can see. Okay, all of my cups. You could have told me, guys. Okay, the line would have been like this. You see? And my eyes would go like through the one image and then to the next one. And it could have bring me so much peace and so much happiness. And it's just because of the bounce over here, the bounce light. So consider it the next time, but for doing photos like this, you should be completely aware what your composition is going to be like as a final result. So you need to know what the two of the photos should look like beforehand, before even shooting them. So what you can do for the next photo is to just grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and just make those lines. Just show to yourself what you would like to see on the images. Make lines. This is what I do. When I do images that should stick together, I don't have paper around me. So if I would do that, I would have just grab a piece of paper and a pen, and I would draw all the lines that I would like to have, even if in my editorials. And this would have helped me, because afterwards I would have looked for those lines. And I think your image now looks great. The only thing that you need to do is to match the colors in the sky for the two images, and they're gonna go together very well. The other thing that you can do just for portraits is to make sure that you are complimenting your model. So you can do that. You can just make sure that her mouth is looking good. That's important. I don't think it's looking very flattering right now. And also, when you are bouncing line, make sure that you have the catch light on both eyes and that it's visible. Because, like I said, there is a lot of psychology in the image, but your images now, they look very beautiful together. Even if you don't fix anything else, but just the color, they're going to look amazing and people are going to love them. I'm completely sure. People, do you love them? Tell me in the comments. Okay. I don't, oh my God, I did not share my screen. I was just talking. Let me do that. No? Ah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just got caught up in the images, and I was like explaining everything, and I forgot that I'm not showing it to you. Are you happy, Pedro? Are you happy with the feedback? Did you learn something? Hope so. Closing the image. I want to see final comments about it, and then we're going to Trajan. And then Zoltan. Is Zoltan here, by the way? I know that Trajan is here. What about Zoltan? Great advice. I'm happy you're happy. George, how many people do we have? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I don't know if Zoltan is here, but now we are going to Trajan's work. So what he said to me is that he doesn't have a lot of fashion images, but he's going to find some and send them to me. I love the photos you send me. I think they're very artistic and I really, really love them. So for the first image, I would say that I like the idea of the 2-in-1 images, says Arturo. Yeah, It's a very cool idea. He's still talking about the previous images, but like I said, there is a little bit of lag. I don't know how much it is exactly, so sometimes I'm just skipping to the next photo and you're still commenting the previous one. I'm very sorry about that. We'll do more lives and I'll just get used to that. So about trans image. So I still see the logo. We're not going to discuss that because we already did. About this image, I love it. I love how artistic this is. There are a few things that I would think about if I were you. Again, lines here, especially this line over here. I know it's because of the cloth. I realize that, but I still would fix it because you know sometimes some clothes, when people are making it, they're doing them and they look perfect from just one side, and when a person is moving they look so much different. So I would fix it. I would fix this line over here and this line over here, and pretty much that's it. I don't know about those lines, to be honest. Probably I would fix a little bit that one because it's making her look a little pregnant. And that's it. I'm not sure about this hand though, because it's very dark and it's only making her look like she's bigger. So probably ask her to move it during the photo shoot. I'm usually saying to them, just hide the hand behind, and they're doing it. So I would ask her to hide the hand during the photo shoot, or if you have it now, I would just fix it. I'm so sorry to say that, but there is nothing else that you can do now. Yeah, the other thing that I would think of is what's important in the image. And in this image, obviously the clothes and the makeup is the most important part. What is not important are the hands. And at the same time, your light is mostly hitting her hand, which is making it very bright and quite saturated, if I should be honest, on this image. So I would probably ask the model to just switch direction, or probably would move the light the other way. Because I see that your cloth is very different from the two sides. So if I want the cloth looking like this, I would probably switch the light. Anyways, your image is just looking very good because obviously there is a lot of effort because of the whole team behind it. What you need to do as a photographer, because it's coming from you and that's important, and nobody looking at the image, most of the people are like, you did a great job. And at the same time, I'm saying to the people, I did not do it alone. I would never have this result without my team. And that's the truth. But the image is coming from you, and people are holding you responsible for everything. And what's your responsibility if you're the retoucher and the photographer of the image, if you're doing both things, is to make sure everything is matching. So you have very monochrome looking photo, but at the same time the hand is very saturated. So desaturate it a little bit more and make sure that her fingers and her hand and shoulders are the same color. That's very important because right now her fingers are very reddish, so I'll fix that. At the time of the photo shoot, this is also going to be included in some of the future videos about posing, is what I would do is to ask her to make like those ballet hands, you know. Let me see what I'm showing to you. I'm pretty sure how to show them. It's ballet hands. They're looking so soft, so feminine, so much better than this, you know, especially if it's a photo shoot. If I'm the model and if I have to do something feminine, I should do this, especially if we were talking about makeup. I could do this, but I would never do this, you know, because it's just so frustrating. This, yeah, it's too much hand. That's the thing. when we're shooting people, and we, even if we don't shoot them, I mean, look at those hands. They look as big as my face. See that? I can cover my face with my two hands, and they look so big. And at the same time, if you just move them like that, they're looking so much slimmer, so much better. It's just awesome. So I would definitely take advantage of this trick, and I would have just asked her, instead of posing her hand like this, I would have asked her to move it like this. So this is something you should consider during the photo shoot, because unfortunately now there is nothing to do in order to fix that, but you can fix the lines and you can fix the colors, and you have just amazing image. Even right now you have amazing image, to be honest. It's just beautiful. Tell me, by the way, who's the designer of the cloth. Let's give them a shout out in the comments. Frankie is talking about the previous image, and he's saying both look great. I liked all the negative space in the flower one. I loved it too. So what do you guys think about this image? And look at all the details. Even her nails are painted like black and white. I love it. I think there is a lot of thought put into this photo shoot. Mark is saying, sorry, I have a photo shoot. Thanks for the feedback. You have my fingers crossed for your photo shoot. And by the way, post the images on our Facebook group so that we can see them afterwards, after your photo shoot. That's going to be amazing. Thank you for tuning in, and good luck with the photo shoot. Okay. Darren says you're spot on. Awesome. Great. This is so beautiful. Very conceptual. True, Pedro. It's very conceptual. I love it too. Very, very beautiful. Also, I love the work with the background. It's just making me feel like there is a lot of space. Though there's probably not, but it's just making me feel like this, which is super amazing. Don't think the lighting angle will work from the other side though. You know the glow. You've been there. So for now, you could just desaturate the hand and maybe even darken it a little. Yeah, try darkening it, but be aware that by darkening it, the saturation is going to go up, so you have to be aware about that. Okay, and I think we're good to go to the next one. Is it from the same series? They look very different, but I think it's the same artist that made the clothes. Tim says, I admire this graphical style. I have never tried this yet. So now is the perfect moment, Tim. Okay. Well, let me know if it's from the same photo shoot, and is this the same person who made the clothes? Clothes are amazing. The person is obviously very, very gifted. I love them a lot. I love the theatrical pose, because these clothes are definitely looking good in poses like this. Again, so let's give a shout out to Tatiana Todorova, designer. She was a student in Barnard University. This dress was for her graduation project. It's just amazing. I don't know where she is right now, but her work is super amazing, and you did a great job making this photograph for her. So I love the pose. I think you could have just leave a little bit. Look at me now. I'm not saying to cut anything off. I'm just saying that if I had a little bit more space on this side, it would have been magical, because I think this dress just deserved to have all the space in the world. So I think you need a little bit more space, but that's it. I mean, it looks amazing. The other thing that I would consider is, again, the hem. I wouldn't ask her to hide it or something, but instead of I don't know how to show it. Okay, instead of holding like this, I would have asked if she could have just hold it. Oh God, how am I supposed to do that? Okay, instead of staying like this, I would have asked her to move it, like on her ass or something. Yeah, you know, maybe on her waist. Yeah, on her waist, but not. What do you guys see? Let me see. What do you see? Okay, so I'm just gonna move. So instead of staying like this towards the camera, where again you can see that um, her hand is looking very big. I would have just asked her to do that, to see a little bit of fingers, but again, the hand is very slim, and I think that's super cool. Why am I so red? Because it's hot. That's the reason I'm so red. Okay. So I'm moving this here, and we are heading to the photo. This completely different photo shoot with different designer. Whoa, so there are many gifted people. Tell me about the designer of the previous code then. Let's give him a shout out too, because they deserve it. Okay, so pretty much the hand, and the other thing is her neck. Neck is always important, always important. So what I would do is to ask her to just, I would say chin up, and she would do that. And when she does that, I can see her chin. And I think it would have helped because it would have looked even more like she's a queen or something. I don't know. I think it would have helped. And yeah, that's it. The hand and the neck. I love the hand that is in the air. It's looking very stylish, very good. I even love the colors because all this yellowish feeling, I don't know, coloring, is all reminding me of old paper, and I think it's going very well with her dress. So gorgeous images. I'm super happy you send them, and I love them. So let me know if there is something else that you would like to ask or you would like me to add. So guys, for this image, the designer is called Cecile Mehmet. She's also a student, spotted the dress in a review made by the university. Awesome. So you're going to reviews like this. That's super cool, and it's a great idea for anyone who is looking for new designers, because that's just awesome idea to go to reviews. There are many gifted designers, and by the way, they're looking for photographers, and at the same time you already know that they're not calling you, and you, because you know sometimes when they call you they're very worried because it's probably their first photo shoot, and at the same time you get a call and you're unprepared, and when you know that they're students or ex-students, you know that they're very gifted, and we've all been there. We don't need to rip off other people, especially when they're at the very beginning, but at the same time you have to be honest and tell them what's your real price and whether you're going to stick to it or do some kind of discount for them. The color is about a little ancient feel there. Ancient feel there. I love it. Yeah, I love both of your images, and I think they're amazing. With just a little things, you can make them stand out even more. I think we're good to go to Zoltan. Not sure Zoltan is here. So Zoltan, are you here? Even if you're not, I want to say about this image that I love it. I love colors like this. I think it's very obvious because I use them all the time. So I love the image. I love the collaborative work because there is a lot of effort from the hairstylist and the makeup artist, and also from the model, because it's not easy to send like this. So there are not many things that I can tell you about this photo simply because I love it. I would have considered doing the opposite. Instead of asking her to like lay back, I would do the opposite so she could look even stronger. But now you have another feeling. She's looking very much like a queen, like I said the previous time. And the other thing that I would do is to just liquefy a little bit this part to make sure that her neck, because I know it's not her neck, but it's again about the visual illusion, if you want to, that's going to look slimmer, and I think it's going to be for her favor. But not much to say, like I said, because it's just looking great. It's an amazing photo. I love it. I suppose we have all those because it's a small image, so that's normal. And the other thing is, the thing that I did not mention is that I'm not quite sure you need all these space over here, because it's all about the hair and the makeup, and I don't have them here, so I'm not quite sure that you need them. Sorry. So what about something like this? I would be even more grabbed by the whole makeup hair thing. I think this would have helped. And now I see also this hair is too bright. I would fix that, and I would probably fill a little bit this spot over here because it's too bright for me. But these are all the things that I would do. Everything else I love a lot. I don't know if you've done the retouch, but it's super amazing. I love it. And that's it. I love the photo. Let's go to the next one. I don't see Zoltan here right now, so leave me a comment if you're here, man. The next image. Really, oh, let me just go back because after I was saying really liking this hair photo and the copper tone colors. Yeah, I love the colors. There's so much work put into this hair look. And also the makeup is super good. And also the lighting is gorgeous. Do you guys have any other comments about this photo? Oh, I'm done with the tea, unfortunately. Just gonna move it over here. I don't know if Zoltan is here. Let's just go to the next photo. If you guys have any other comments on this one, I'm gonna go back. Nope, not a problem at all. So let's see this image. Again, you're definitely into beauty photography, and that's awesome. Great for you. What I would say about this image is, again, very nice work. There are a few things that I would fix. One of them is that I still see some spots over here. Oh, sorry about that. Over here, you see? There are some white spots, and I would fix them also here. And the easiest way to fix stuff like this is if you see the small image. The image small. Yeah, because if you're looking like this, I'm sorry, what's going on? If you're looking like this, everything seems perfect. But if you go back and look at the image when it's small, all these little spots are showing up, and now you know what to fix, and you're not wasting too much time, because especially it depends what the photo is all about and where it's going to be seen, but not many photos get the chance to be looked at like this. So most of the images we see this way, and we can spot on every dark spot, every white spot. So better when you're retouching, just go back and forth, zoom in, zoom out to make sure that you're doing the best for your image. The other thing that I would say here is that you should be careful with the hair, because even if you want to give it a shout out, to spot on it's kind of too much for me, because right now I cannot, my eye just has no idea where to go, whether it should be on the bright lips or on the heavy makeup or on the hair. So you should be completely sure what your viewer wants to see. The best people in the industry are those that knows how to make your eye to follow their ideas. And if you want me to first look at her lips and then to her eyes and then just get the right feeling from the hair, you're not giving light to all of them. You just know how to do it. You're spotting the lips first, and then you're gonna lead me to the eye, whether with the composition or with the light or with something else. You're just going to direct my eye, and that's the thing that all the best people in the industry know how to do it. And don't worry, you can learn it too. It's not some sort of a big super secret. It's just that you have to look at a lot of photos in order to know how to do that, and to analyze those photos, not just to take a look at them. You have to look at amazing images and analyze them. That's very important. Sorry, I got lost. Reading here. Arturo is asking, is that just one light for the first hair photo for this one? So let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. So there is no catch light, and we cannot be super sure because of it. But what we can see is to look at the shadows. That's the thing that you can do. Oh, okay. I managed to. So look at this. There is a contour line. I'm not quite sure where it's coming from somewhere, or he had make some sort of edit. It can definitely be done with just one light, to be honest with you. If you're worried that you don't have like 10 million watts of light and 500 different bodies, there is no reason for you to be worried about that. You can even do amazing images with just sunlight. To be honest with you, I finished my BA with just one light, and it was a light bulb. It wasn't even a flash, it was a light bulb, and I was doing every single project with it. And I learned a lot of things from it, because I learned that even if I just use a white paper to bounce light, I'm going to have one effect. And if I block the light with something, I'm going to have a completely different effect. And you know what? I don't even know if I should say that, but very soon I'll be having a workshop about different lights and all the things that you can have around you and use them in order to bounce light or create some cool effect. And you don't need all the expensive equipment in the world in order to make that. Unfortunately, the workshop is going to be in Bulgarian, but I'll try to make sure a video for you that's going to be in English, so that you can just remind to yourself you don't need the most expensive equipment in order to make something very good looking. At the same time, we have a lot of examples in the podcast of people who have used something very simple but have amazing results and amazing portfolio, and they have super good clients. So you don't need the most expensive thing. You don't need 10 different bodies of flashes or cameras. So you can do amazing stuff with just one light. And I think sometimes we need to remind this to ourselves, because the more you grow, I think you just have to keep it real and remember that not everything is all about the money. It's all about the beautiful work, and you can achieve it by very simple techniques. So if you want to see a video like this, let me know so I can make it for you. You can write it down in the comments. So yeah, you can do a setup like this with just one light, but at the same time it depends on what especially for this image, you know, nowadays, it's not just nowadays, it's always been like this. It's the way you use the light, not how much or how many lights you have. So for the background, it's a small image, so you can if you have just one light, you can do this. You can use it for the foreground and have the sorry, and have the red background behind her. If you don't have a red background, you can use gels and have a red background with one light and have a light in front of her, a second one. So there are many things that you can do. The only thing that you should be concerned about is to have the right result. Doesn't matter how many lights you're going to use. Tim says, well said, Virginia, and great dots. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything else? I don't think Zoltan is here, but he has amazing images. There is not much to say. I already told you about the hair here, but that's it for me. And also the little spots that you can see here, here, and here. So you already know what I mean. All about the crops, they're all great. Here I told you that I would just remove this part. Let me just see. Something like this, so I can make sure it's all about the hair and the makeup, and that's it. I think those are the last images, by the way. Yeah, those are the last images. So let's just go through the whole thing. We had Arturo, Frankie, Jade. I hope Jade is gonna get the chance to see the video later. Mark, Pedro, Treyan, and Zoltan. Okay, we're done. I hope you're happy with the results from this portfolio review. I hope you learned a lot from it. I hope this is one of the videos that I'll be happy to watch afterwards, because there are insights from you. If you love the content that you saw, you can listen to the Fashion Photography Podcast. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Jude Magazine, Neverland Magazine, and Crowd Magazine. There are so many new things that we have prepared for you, so stay tuned if you want to see more videos. And by the way, if you want to see the videos about the light and the posing, let me know in the comments so that I can make them for, especially the one with the light, for you. And you can subscribe to my channel if you have not yet. You can also leave me a comment whether you like this video or not, and if you would like to see more like this, because like I said, there are many surprises that we've prepared for you, and one of them is that every other month we'll be doing a portfolio review just for you, and it's going to be free. For the next portfolio review, I think it's safe to say, George, can I have your opinion over here? I don't think he's gonna come for you to see him, but should I tell them about the big surprise for the May portfolio review? Yeah, he's up for it. So I'm telling you that for the next portfolio review, which is going to be in May 2018, hold up, okay? I'm not going to review your images alone. Do you have any suggestions who is going to be with me? It's not going to be George. I mean, he's probably going to be around, but he's so like, I'm not showing myself to the camera, and he's so handsome, you know, he's my boyfriend, so I think he is just perfect for the camera, but that's all right. Well done, everybody, and Virginia, thank you. So yeah, do you know who that is going to be? Hmm? Oh. Are you a fan of the Fashion Photography podcast? If you are, you already know that on Wednesday we are releasing an episode with another guest, and every other Friday I'm answering your questions, and I'm also giving you some feedback and tips and tricks. But what about the Wednesday podcast? I'm there with a guest, like I said. So our latest guest was Kendra Page, and she's going to be my next plus one for the next portfolio review. So she's going to be here with me, and together we're going to help you, because that's the whole point of this. So subscribe to the podcast. George is going to leave the link to YouTube for you, and you can download it to on your phone and listen to it wherever you are. You can join our Facebook group called the Fashion Photography Podcast, where you, by the way, can definitely share everything you want to, of course with not too much self-promotion, but again, you can show images, you can ask for comments, you can give feedback, you can just tell us how's your day, because we want to make this group more active, and you can also give us some suggestions on how to do that. We would love that, because we want to make a community. That was the whole point of the podcast and also of this YouTube channel, because we want to have our community around, and we want it to be very positive and all about the learning, because we can learn a lot from each other. So join our podcast, join this YouTube channel, and stay tuned with the next cool stuff. If you have any last questions, I'm here for the next 3 minutes so I can answer to them. Pedro says, and happy Liberation Day. Thank you so much. Though it's almost, oh my God, it's not over. It's like 10 o'clock, but I feel so tired. I can go to sleep right now. Tran says, it was an interesting conversation. Thank you for joining it, because it was going to be so stupid for me if it wasn't a conversation. So thanks for joining, guys. And yeah, oh my God, we are finishing with Zoltan's image. It's so cool. Yeah. So if you have any suggestions or questions, leave them in the comments, and I will try to answer as many as I can. Or you can leave them in our Facebook group if you're part of it. And if you're not, you can become right now. Okay, George, I think we can have the link for the Facebook group posted in the conversation here. Thank you very much. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Any final thoughts? Should I have any final thoughts? I think I had thoughts all the time. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was super lovely to have you, and I hope you're very excited for the next portfolio review too. See you soon, and to be honest, it's going to be in just a few days, next Wednesday, with our next podcast guest. And I'm very excited for it, and I hope you are too. Thank you very much for being with me, and have a great day. Hope it was helpful.